Hey everybody, it's me, Shaw360, and today is International Unboxing Day. Because I happen to be at my mom's house this morning, we're doing it here. Now, I told you guys ahead of time that International Unboxing Day started as kind of an homage or a tribute to Tina Davidson. So, happy birthday, Tina. I don't know if you'll watch this video, but I'm thinking of you. And I said I'd do something a little bit different this year. Normally on Unboxing Day, I try to unbox something brand new. In previous years, I've done Secret Santa for Unboxing Day. But today's a little bit different. I've decided to unbox something old, something new, something not borrowed, but I wish I had, and something absolutely not blue, more like pink. But anyway, I thought I would unbox something that's overrated and something that's underrated. Haha. So see, still a theme going on. And I thought I'd go with the same group, Girls' Generation. So the first thing we're unboxing is this, which is Jessica Jung's Shine book. I actually did a full review of this book over the course of several days. You can find all those videos on my channel. But this is the front of the book. This is the spine of the book. This is the back of the book with a lovely big portrait of Jessica. Inside, you'll find a synopsis of the book right here. Also, you're going to find my Namjoon School Love Affair photo card because I was using it as a bookmark. Yes, I did that. And then in the back, you have a brief rundown of Jessica. Let's read what they say about her, how they describe her as an author. It says here, Jessica Jung is a Korean-American singer, actress, fashion designer, and international influencer. Born in San Francisco, Jessica grew up in South Korea where she trained as a K-pop singer, debuting as a member of the international sensation Girls' Generation in 2007. After going solo in 2014, she launched the successful fashion line Blanc and Eclair. Jessica has been featured on the covers of magazines worldwide, her brand now spanning many platforms, including film and television. Shine is her debut novel. Um, sure. Sure, that's a good rundown. You'll notice in my copy, I happen to have a lot of divisions here because I folded the pages at the beginning of every chapter, so that's why mine looks a little bit different than it would if it was brand new. This is what the inside of the book looks like when you take off the dust jacket. Again, here is the spine and the back. I had the dust jacket off while I was reading it, but now that I have finished reading it, I'm leaving the dust jacket on. And it's fairly big print, so it should be easy for you to read. This book can be found at your local Target. It can be found on Amazon. Each chapter heading has this little star motif to it. So I'm going to show you an example here. You see the little star motif and then the chapter title. And this is what I would call overrated. Now, the reason I call this one overrated is because at the end of the day, I think anyone who heard about this book ahead of time had the assumption that this book was going to be kind of an insider's look at K-pop, and it absolutely was not that. This book was anything but an insider's look. It was K-pop fan fiction from somebody who discovered K-pop 2 weeks ago. And there are a couple of things about this book that one could say sound like insider information, like the idea of keeping contract extensions in a Swiss bank account. The idea that there's a lot of kind of smoozing with executives in order to get a better placement in K-pop. But outside of that, this really was Jessica's treatise on misogyny in K-pop, and outside of that, not much else. So with that being said, I would definitely classify this as overrated. And I agree with Lovely Twin Twin. I hope that if she did employ a ghostwriter, that she hires a better ghostwriter for her next book, because this person, they're a little long in the adjective department. I'd like a little bit more pan and a lot less flash. So that's my unboxing of Jessica's Shine book. Now, let's talk about this, something super underrated. This is I Just Want to Dance by Tiffany. Tiffany released this album, and I want to say it was not long after this album was released that the unfortunate Snapchat filter incident took place. Now, I'm not one to talk about cultural sensitivities in regards to cultures where neither of them belong to me. I can just say that Korea is very sensitive about Japan and Japan's occupation, and the rising sun symbology is a remnant of that period in time. And so a lot of people who live in Korea are, that history is still very fresh and they're not comfortable with it. And unfortunately, Jessica chose to use a filter on Snapchat that had the rising sun, and her being an American, it didn't have the same kind of resonance with her as it does with most native Korean people. So I feel bad that that kind of terminated her popularity in Korea, but I'm glad that before she left SM, we got this album, because this is a wonderful album. This is highly underrated. When it came out during a flurry of albums. I want to say this album came out in the span of a month that had maybe 4 to 5 SM releases, and I think one of those releases might have been an EXO release. Let's see, when did this come out? This came out in 2016, and let's see if we can see the month on here. Sometimes we can see the month. I can't really read the month because of the floral motif. Let me get it out of the frame real quick. I'm going to try to get close up. Nope, I can't see the month. But I know that this came out with a whole bunch of other releases the year that it came out, 2016. So I think this came out the same week that Jonghyun's album came out, maybe. I think this came out the same week as She Is. So yeah, it was a week filled with releases. And because of it, I think a lot of people really didn't pay a lot of attention to this, but this album sounds just as good today as it did the day it came out. Like, it has aged supremely well. Her voice sounds really good on it. The ballads aren't tired. The mid-tempos are really fun. This is a perfect spring, late summer album. I highly recommend it. So this is the front of the album. And you see, yeah. So this is I Just Want to Dance, and you can see the credits here on the front. Usually they have the month credits on here, so I'm surprised that the month wasn't on here. Thank you for clarifying, Tarian, that it came out in May. And then you can see the old Kamka sticker. The Kamka stickers don't look like this anymore. They're now white with like a little symbol for the Korean music industry. And then you can see the track list here. So the track list is I Just Want to Dance, Talk, Fool, What Do I Do, Yellow Light, and Once in a Lifetime. Now, when I open this up, you're not going to see a CD because I do not keep my CDs in my albums anymore. So CD's missing. But it comes with this really pretty photo book, fairly thick. I love the color scheme and the font that they used for this. I think it's just really modern and really nice. Of course, this album is out of print because she's no longer signed to SM, and SM has a habit of not reproducing the albums by artists who are no longer signed to their label. But I just wanted to show you a few of the pictures here because, again, like I said, this is a really beautiful album. And I love kind of the soft girl concept. It definitely fits with who Tiffany was as a member of Girls' Generation. It fit her image at that time. It's really neat that her image has evolved so much. She definitely takes on a more mature, kind of grown woman look now. But definitely, you know, our Fanny, our soft little Fanny, definitely, that sounded gross. Our soft girl Fanny, this is her at that time. And I think it's a really good reminder of what used to be. You know, there's some people who still sell this every once in a while. It's probably, you can probably get it, like find somebody and finesse them, but it's just not something that you can buy brand new. But there's a number of solos that are underrated for Girls' Generation that I recommend you take advantage of. Jessica's solo, can't say I recommend it, but I've heard really great things about Yuri's solo. I've heard that the B-sides are actually quite quality. Sooyoung's solo, I heard was really decent. Not Sooyoung, Sohyun solo was really decent. And so all the TTS members have had solos that you can go and check out. But yeah, SM releases doesn't mean that it's not going to go out of print. In fact, I think when you go to K-Town For You right now, almost all of Jong's solo stuff is out of print except for the very last one. So absolutely recommend it. But it's a beautiful album, beautiful pictures. It's got this really cool matte finish, so it kind of almost looks a little bit older than what it is. Like, it has a very nostalgic feel to it. But yeah, I really, really dig this album. I highly recommend anybody taking a look at this. at least listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music, if you haven't listened to it in a while. If I had to describe the sound, it's very reminiscent of early Ariana Grande, like the way Ariana Grande. So definitely recommend it a lot. Okay, so I have a question here from Diana Sam saying, why is a lot of Red Velvet and NCT albums out of print? Do you think they're having an album production problem because of COVID? I find it odd for both of these groups. I will tell you, it's not an album production issue. When SM prints an album, they usually print a ton of albums the minute the album comes out, and then after that, they're much less concerned about doing reprints. Every once in a while, if there are enough requests for an album from the different people who sell albums, like if K-Town for You says we're getting requests for this album is out of print, they might do another run. But even if the album has multiple versions, they'll do special runs. So they'll do like with Amigo, they might do a run of the green one, and that'll be what's available right then. And then later on, they'll do a run of the black and white one, and that'll be what's available later on. I know they did that with FX's Red Light. When Red Light first came out, one of the versions was a lot harder to get after the initial run, and then later on, it became a lot easier to get. So SM has a habit of kind of looking at the market, seeing what booksellers and album sellers are asking for, and then they base their reprints on that, which is why a lot of early Shiny is out of print. A lot of early Shiny you have to get used. Also, I think SM looks, even though they don't say they do, I think a lot of times they do look at the resale market to determine whether or not something needs to be reprinted. But the problem with a lot of the solo albums by people who have left SM is that they don't have artist agreements with these people. And I don't know what the SM contract looks like, but there could be some issues with royalties, which is the reason why a lot of that stuff goes out of print. I often have questions myself about what the agreement is when it comes to Jongyun's estate and SM and how they've managed all of that. So I do recommend, if you like an artist and their album is out, go ahead and buy it. It's never a bad idea to buy the album as soon as it comes out, not just because, you know, you get it before it goes out of print, but also it helps out the artist a lot. It helps them on the charts if you pre-order the album. It helps them on the charts if you buy the album the week it comes out or 2 weeks after it comes out. It's just a good look for them. It tells the company there's a lot of interest in the artist right now and that they need to continue to produce stuff for them. And if there's an artist that you're getting into and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, I think I might like them, check out the market and see the prices of things. Don't automatically just go and buy every single thing from that artist because not every project is a project you'll like. But check out the market, see what the prices are, and then whatever happens to be the most expensive at the time, go to your Spotify, go to your Apple Music, go to YouTube Music, and listen to the album to determine, is it worth that to you? Because that's the other thing. Sometimes we get so excited about the price of albums on the resale market that we're like, oh, I found it for $20 less than it normally is. I'm going to buy it right now. And then you listen to it and you're like, I don't particularly care for this album. And with YouTube being the resource as it is, people like Tina Davidson, Carolyn, Katie, who are unboxing just about every K-pop release under the sun. If you're worried about whether or not you'll like the packaging, if maybe you're not concerned about the CD and the music on the CD itself, everything is being unboxed. There's no excuse for you to be surprised by the packaging of something unless it's just the actual quality itself. But in terms of what the packaging looks like, there are so many people that are unboxing albums that nothing should be a surprise to you at this point. The day albums come out, they get unboxed nowadays. So I recommend doing a little research. Don't be so hasty to go and get, because there are a lot of people who could tell you a lot of horror stories about how they bought things because they found a new group and then they realized they weren't into them and the market drops out and those things aren't reselling. So just use your best judgment. Try to be as investing as possible. Hey, Meg, I miss you. Try to invest as much time as possible. In looking at things and determining not only what they're worth on an open market, but what they're worth to you. And always let the music guide you. Like, honestly, there are albums that I own that can't be resold. Like they just, nobody wants them. But the music matters a lot to me. And because the music matters a lot to me, I don't care what the market says because those are treasures for me. And so I definitely feel like do a little research. Definitely check a lot of different places as well. A lot of people base their album values on eBay, but don't just check eBay. Go to Mercari to check album prices. Go to Zen Market and check album prices. Go to Amazon and check out album prices because people do resell K-pop stuff on Amazon. I've bought used K-pop on Amazon before. Go to Facebook groups and see what people are selling them privately for. There's a lot of different places to find used albums. So, like for instance, if somebody went on Mercari and was selling this album for $60, and then you go to eBay and this album is selling for $80, you might go on a Facebook chat page and somebody could be selling this for 40 or 25, and then you've saved yourself a little bit of money. And always be careful when you're buying from Facebook. I've said it once and I'll say it again. Don't let being cheap cause you to make stupid decisions. A lot of times when people want to sell stuff on Facebook, they'll tell you, send me the money, friends and family. If you send the money, friends and family, and they don't send you an album, there is literally nothing you can do legally to get your money back. So if you're going to buy an album from somebody on Facebook, remember, these are absolute and total strangers. Spend the money for goods and services. Even tell the seller, I'm willing to pay the service fee charges to buy this from you using goods and services because it is the only way to protect yourself and get your money back just in case they don't send you your stuff. And as someone who's been scammed very on in my life as a K-pop collector, this is advice that anyone can follow. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude my happy International Unboxing Day broadcast by saying thank you to everyone who collects K-pop, listens to K-pop, has made it to where I've been able to do this now 5 years in a row. K-pop is very different than the American market for music. The packaging is just different. The aesthetic is different. It's a totally different animal. And I'm really glad that with something that is so different but yet so familiar that we've built a community that is also quite unique in and of itself. So with that being said, I wish you all the best. I hope you have the most fun, and I hope that some of the people that are here are able to do videos of their own because not enough people participate in Happy Unboxing Day. So please, please do. And thank you, Multimillion Fandom, for reminding people how I got into K-pop. I actually did get into K-pop because of my daughter. So shouts out to Justice for broadcasting the Wonder Girls in your stores and making K-pop a bonding experience for the two of us. You guys have a wonderful day, and for a couple of you, I'll see you tonight. Bye!